Alrighty, this is the passive-aggressive psychopathic disorder of the gang members of Upland Police. They're stalking in the path. They're doing so while they are monitoring my vagina with the disgusting sex offenders that go into the bathroom, don't flush the toilet, just to engage in what is presence. They call themselves engaging in retaliation because their partner's going to federal prison for stalking under the 8 a.m. fake sun. All right, and this is, again, the shutdown of the Upland City Hall. This is all engineer light, where they're carrying pistols on their waist, and they're concerned about me, concerned about my vagina, concerned about my evidence prosecuting their gang stalking partners, which is the gang violence that the Upland Police Department is engaging in. Stalking by helicopters under a fake sun. They're over here stalking in the path, waiting for me to exit so that they can make, again, demons that are psychopathic, engaging in what are their tactics of retaliation. You're merely being present in this environment is stalking. Marcelo Blanco is being prosecuted. Okay, he's a terrorist leader, and he's engaged in the criminal conspiracy to commit murder with the U.S. military. That is stalking me by planes over this library while I'm present in the morning, where the natural environment will never include the sun being here 12 hours, 11 hours, 10 hours, 9 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours later. That's the entity that's amplifying train while gang members of the Upland Police Department are stalking me. That's what you're looking at. Their partner's going to prison. That's the reward. He is indeed going to prison. This is exactly what I documented this morning, walking north on Euclid Avenue, and on video, that fake sun is remaining in alignment over this same location while I'm on this sidewalk. And this is speaking to the sex offender, that Lavelle number 2908, the sex offender that he is, while he's engaging in what is bathroom monitoring, and those cockroaches, those homosexuals, those gay women who are violent sex offenders run into the bathroom on behalf of the gang members of the Upland Police who are engaging in things such as stalking in bathrooms, not law enforcement. Okay, those images will be on the Google Drive. He's stalking right here at the bus bench. The fake sun's right here over me. That's not sunlight. And you just saw a bunch of gang members, they're cockroaches, they're critters, wearing police uniforms that they're going to be stripped of. That same department committed kidnapping. The Upland employees are going to federal prison. That's the reward. There's violent sex offenders engaging in gang stalking and retaliatory conduct, such as stalking in your path as a measure while you are documenting them, because I'm documenting their vagina monitoring stalker of a buddy, which they are sharing in that pattern of conduct. That's why a fake sun is here. Okay, their presence is all about me. They're a bunch of vagina monitors, and the Upland Police are being disbanded. Bill Valto's not staying in office. That's the reward. While the entity is psychopathic, they tell themselves that they're engaging, oh, we're going to get her, but they're stalking. They're demons, and this is spiritually significant. They're maintaining a ritual. They're going to be committed with their ritualistic behaviors. This is the P.O.C. They're engaging in criminal activity with the people of the state. They're not driving under a sun. And this demon of the Upland Police was engaging in demonic behavior. That psychopathic behavior, stalking with light, is going to have them involuntarily committed. He was engaging in what is criminal activity while creating the illusion of speaking to what is a third party who was stalking me just like they are now under the fake sun. They're targeting. And this is what the Upland Police are. They're gang members. They're a bunch of cowards. They're homosexuals. All right, and they're engaging in that pattern of conduct because they are very much intimidated by me. They're very much fearful of me. And if they were minding their business, if they weren't stalkers, if they weren't demons, if they weren't psychopaths, they would not be. Okay, they're engaging in this pattern of conduct with the U.S. military that's stalking me by helicopter, and they're dispersing like the cockroaches that they are. And guess who's going to federal prison? Adam Tuckerman. He's going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. While the Upland Police, that's a sex offender, license 7UZB157. That's the pattern of conduct while the entity is gang stalking me in the bathroom on behalf of the gang members of the Upland Police Department. All right, this is as you're going from city to city, and I'm showing you that seamless P.O.C. All right, they run in like critters, monitoring my vagina, doing so with regard to an ongoing obsession. That obsession is going to be dealt with when they're committed. This is literally what's going to happen with regard to gang stalking. Gang stalking is a matter of what is mentally ill behavior shared by a population whose whole ritualistic behavior is severely disturbed and demented, and they pose a threat to themselves and other people. They're all in the illusion. None of this is light, and you're not supposed to be aware of all of it. You're a psychopath engaging in that, and they do this as families. They do this as government bodies. They're doing it as a fake gang stalking police department. This is P.O.C. Marcelo Blanco's going to prison. This is the same street when I'm walking down at 1 in the afternoon. Who was stalking me? The U.S. military that is prosecuted as Marcelo Blanco's pattern of conduct, while the Upland Police are stalking me by helicopter on Euclid Avenue. In furtherance of the criminal conspiracy to commit murder with the vagina monitors themselves, who are the people of the state. While the fake sun is outside of this library, it is not remaining outside of the Ontario Civic Center, where you have the gang members of the Ontario Police competing with the gang members of the Upland Police, and they're both being disbanded. Both of them. They're both sharing in the U.S. government's criminal pattern of conduct. A whole bunch of homosexuals that are engaged in what is gang stalking the person that is prosecuting, and they're so demented, they're so incompetent that they don't realize that. That's why my evidence is so painful for them to watch, because they are literally inferior, incompetent, dense dummies. Okay, engaging in what is resorting to homosexuality, homosexual conduct, and you thought that that was going to compete with what are facts, objective, tangible evidence, because you're mentally ill. P.O.C. It is currently 6:55 p.m. The Upland Police Department are being disbanded for the ongoing terrorism that they're sharing in with a bunch of terrorists who are the people of the state. That's light activity. This is not being courteous. He's under the fake sun. And the entity, the entire population is going to be subject to deportation. You're not a natural born citizen, you're being committed. Well, they will be, I said it, they are being committed with regard to the pattern of conduct, but all of the immigrants and the population, this is how the entity is going to, this is how you prosecute a state, this is how you prosecute an entity, and they will be subject to mass deportation. This is Euclid and D Street, where the Upland Police Department are also stalking me in the morning, where the fake sun is over me at the same Upland public library. Okay, this is where the gang stalker of that same department was stalking this morning, and they think that their facial expression, keeping their back to me, not addressing me, is going to help. That's why they're going to be committed, because they're delusional. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:56 p.m. where the demon that was gang stalking this morning, his partners are aiding in his criminal. He's already convicted. This is ongoing confirmation regarding the disbanding of those sex offenders going under the deceptive misnomer regarding calling themselves a police department. They're no police department. They're demons. This is domestic terrorism in Upland, California, and it has been exposed, and it is being prosecuted on the World Wide Web, and the entity is going to be subject to mass deportation. They're going to be subject to what is a criminal prosecution, because they're engaged in criminal monitoring. When you're seeing it outside on a tree, impossible light activity, the fake sun, and it's both remaining for the duration of the day, and also it's so low that it's reflecting off of, they're all engaged in this criminal system, and the gang members of the Upland Police shall not exist. You will not engage in domestic terrorism in the U.S. They are treasonous. They're going to be prosecuted for treason. And those idiots can't even spell that, but they're going to find out how serious that is. P.O.C. It's not worth monitoring my vagina as I walk out. That's not retaliation. That's an admission to being a gang stalker. You geniuses. P.O.C. You're so